my truth uncensored. My whole network vibrant. 12 and a half, get you a quarterback. I got them shits flying like spiders. I like my truth uncensored. My whole network.
Welcome to another episode of the Hip Hop Uncensored Truth Podcast with your brother Old God and your brother Sam Ant from Viral Hip Hop News over there. We in the building.
Indeed.
We got two special guests today, and we cannot wait, to get to these guests and talk about the topics that we're going to talk about, because it's going to be a healthy conversation for the people. But before I get started, I'm going to turn the microphone over to my man Sam Ant over there.
Beautiful Tuesday to everybody listening out there on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, and all major online outlets. The exclusive home of the Hip Hop Uncensored Podcast. In the building this evening, episode 174. Salute to everybody that's been hitting that 5-star, letting us know that you're enjoying the content. Definitely getting a lot raw, a lot more real on the podcast, and we appreciate it. We got two OGs in the building.
Yeah.
No strangers to the podcast, brother Kansu from Chicago and our brother Darren from Indiana. Fellas, man, the floor is yours. How y'all doing this evening?
Man, straight chilling, man. 100, how many did you say? 176?
174, but that's that y'all know of. I mean, there's probably 100 on top of that before anybody even started counting. But 174 right now.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. Well, I'm brother Darren Marion Blerd Planet, Retail SEO, Darren Marion, motivational speaker. So, Kansu.
Yeah, what's up, man? Brother Kansu, Aboriginal Consulting Corporation, financier, and economist and all that good stuff. Ready here to chop it up.
Yeah. So we talked about it, kind of on the fly the other day. We didn't really, talk too much as we could about the Jay-Z, his new situation, where article came out via Black America Web and a few other outlets that pretty much said that Jay-Z was investing about $3 million in a GPS monitoring technology that pretty much tracks parolees now. But me and Darren was talking back and forth about it, and he came out and said, man, I support it. And I immediately said, well, whoa, you know what I mean? In the back of my mind, I was like, this would be a good conversation to have in front of the people. So, I'm going to ask you brothers, first start with brother Darren, since we, talked about it. What do you think about, this app right here, and how is this a good thing for one?
Well, right now on average, the average house arrest cost is about $15 per day. So the normal ankle monitoring system, about $15 a day. The system's archaic. A lot of the equipment is broken and stuff like that. An app actually levels the technology. So when you ever bring up the level of the technology, costs always come down. And ideally, those costs will be passed on to the offender or the parolee. So that actually will put them in a better position overall. Man, that's kind of just my general high level overview of it. Now, not getting into the fact that, Jay-Z was part of the investment group that he was one of the investors in this company. I think, like I was saying to you, if you're going to have a necessary evil of having house arrest or home detention, I would rather a black man, someone who is involved in the criminal justice system as Jay-Z is, to be able to help administrate that or to be able to help drive those forces.
Right.
Kansu, I want to get your perspective on that.
Yeah. I beg to differ to a certain degree, only because Jay-Z was probably given intel on that particular app. Working at that level, he has investors or people that are consultants. He would hire somebody like me to do trace work to find out what's the best rate of return for the next investment and how to diversify and protect the income that he receives. So when you look at what he invests in, which is app technology, it's a wide open field, and he's probably invested in other apps, and he probably just invested in an investment portfolio that happened to include this kind of investment. I think more so he's investing in the technology. And someone consulted him to do that because the app technology is at an all-time high. I mean, you're making an app for just about everything now. And because of the movement and changing of cell phones, cellular devices, you got 5G coming, it really makes sense to invest in app technology. I don't think it was a moral situation, because if that would have been it alone, I wouldn't advise investing in something like that. I think it's destructive. I think that it's not going to bring an end to a means to a prison industrial complex system. But that wasn't this move. His move was a per capita move. And it's not based on his projected sales. Now they're calling him the first black, rap billionaire, because he makes moves like this. He has a team of consultants that look at the best possible opportunity and the best purchasing power for his money. So he probably invested in a portfolio, and this platform was one of the included platforms.
Absolutely.
So you brought up morale, and that was, I was thinking, because even in the conversation God and I had initially about this, and in hearing about it, even the article, it wasn't written pro Jay-Z. It wasn't, I don't want to say it wasn't neutral, because it was written very well, but it was written in a way where this is doing harm to black people. Are we giving Jay-Z too much criticism from a naysayer's perspective? And Darren, from your perspective, thinking that this is a good move, I want to ask you as well. Are we just putting too much emphasis on Jay-Z the rapper? Is it too much as an individual, or is this fair criticism or fair praise that we give him?
Yeah, I think that we are putting too much emphasis on a conglomerate business person. He's no different than any other business person. We do have to take into account, but this man didn't graduate high school. This man, by his own lyrics, was a street pharmacist, okay? It took a lot. That's a miracle. It took a lot for him to turn that around and become a positive influence. He's been doing, and I don't like pushing conspiracy, but unfortunately, we're affected by conspiracy, black folks. He has been doing so much philanthropic work and helping other artists, not just recently, Nipsey Hussle, Meek Mill. He's been helping artists develop themselves. And it's no coincidence that now his personality in life is in question, when nobody questions Lee Iacocca, nobody questions the decisions that he makes, and he's made some really crazy decisions and been a part of a lot of crazy things. So I think that Jay-Z is just in an unfair paradigm, because you can't say black man and billionaire too many times. You're not going to get that. And I think it's a testament and an honor for brother Jay-Z. He just got to be, unfortunately, the trailblazer, and he going to get a lot of flack for that.
Brother Darren.
Yeah, man. I think that Jay-Z, man, we're putting too much into the fact that he is Jay-Z the rapper, and not looking at him as Jay-Z the activist. I think that this is a moral thing, because it does bring down costs. It does increase efficiency. And I think that, with him being, actually putting behind it, what last year he wrote something about how the criminal justice system, the costs were out of control. So it would only make sense for him to invest, to put his money where his mouth is. I mean, we've seen him do that again, and again. So I think this is par for the course. This is exactly the type of thing I would think that Jay-Z would get behind. However, it's not like the Michael Jordan prison, where Jordan's investing just in stone cold prison and is totally hands off. This is something where Jay-Z actually he's got control over. He's got some sort of say in how this technology is administered, because he's the primary investor.
Right. Here's a statement that Jay-Z said he said, "We are increasingly alarmed by the injustice in our criminal justice system. Money, time, and lives are wasted with the current policies. It's time for innovative and progressive technology that offers sustainable solutions to tough problems. Promise team, led by co-founder CEO Miss Lampkins, is building an app that can help provide liberty and justice for all to millions of people." That is a statement, that Jay-Z said, with the company is called Promise, and you can get more information at promise.com about the app and what it does. But definitely, but I'm a blogger named Sandra Rose is pretty much putting a lot of pressure on Jay-Z, and kind of really in the article that we, quoted from, she was comparing him to Nipsey. And we were kind of saying like, okay, like with the whole thing, and tell me if I'm going too far out with this statement here. It's like, okay, they're selling drugs, so we're going to join the cartel, or are we going to go on the other side, like what Kansu alluded to kind of try to shut down a prison industrial complex, not to get an opportunity in it and make money off of it, but to try to do something maybe to stop people from even going in. That's the kind of the angle that the other side was, on, and people kind of criticizing Jay-Z for, why are you trying to make money off this instead of building this and this to try to stop people from even, entering that system, period.
Is that why you're critical, oh God, of the situation? First off, are you critical? Because when we talked about it on Saturday, we read it live, and then we kind of gave a real knee-jerk reaction to it. Nothing really solid because it was fresh. A couple days in now, are you critical of the
I'm
move?
not really critical of it. Not like that. I'm just looking at all sides of it. My thing is, you could do what you want with your money. I don't really see too much harm in this, and I expect Jay-Z to do stuff like this. You talking about, again, this guy was a drug dealer, and really what he did was, pretty much you could say borderline miracle. He started at 26, and before he even hit 50, he's a billionaire now. So it's like he's done some great things, but some of his investments I agree with, some of them I don't. But I don't think it makes him a bad person or anything, for investing. Like Brother Kansu said, he had his team and they seen what the best possible investment was, and he did it. Same thing with Uber. And back in 2013, he invested $2 million and flipped it to 70. So simple as that. But yeah, I'm not coming down on Jay too hard. I'm just representing the people out there that's going to, say these different things like, he's a sellout in this. And I understand that a little bit, but I don't agree with it necessarily.
Let's talk on that sellout a little bit, brothers. I want to ask the room real quick, because a lot of people and a lot of us, unfortunately, will go along the lines and Jay-Z reached this level of success and it was the Illuminati, or he had to do something to get under the white man's good graces in order to achieve the success, because no black man could do it alone. Talk about that. Is that just one of the biggest problems that kind of plagues us as a community? Because anytime we have a person that achieves this kind of height and success, we don't praise them and look at the blueprint, no pun intended, how they got there, as opposed to just making excuses and reasons why they got there.
I think it's something just endemic of just being black in America, just part of the sickness and illness that we have, that we would say that, hey, he must have cheated in order to get there. He must have jumped in front of the line in order to get the butter biscuit before everybody else did. So that's I just think that's something that's endemic of just black people thinking that that there was some sort of secret to how he did it, other than really, just a lot of good luck, a lot of parlaying, and building some good relationships. Real quick back to the app, and I know we're kind of moving on, but back to the app. You got to look at what it actually does. It's a smartphone app. It's not something where someone is wearing an ankle bracelet on there, so they're not having that stigma of wearing the ankle bracelet. They don't have that on them. They just have the app on the phone that's tracking their movements, which is a lot. Yeah, I'm sorry, man. Yeah.
No. Let me ask you a question based off that. Do you, and this is just kind of off the top, are this trial run errors for tracking, like the new wave of tracking devices just to track us, period? Is this like the trial running that? Because we even talk about music, and you can't go buy a CD no more. Now, I understand the ankle monitor is the thing of the past, but so were CDs. But we know the brilliance in the CD is at least we could go put it in, and they don't have ultimate control to turn it off and turn it on. Is this a gift and a curse in itself? Because now we give them even more control over our phones and over technology and things like that. Because if it could just stretch the criminals, the technology can go even further if it ain't already there.
Yeah, I think the technology's already there, man. If you look on your phone, whenever you add an app on your phone, it asks you, do you want to run this in the background? So generally, that if you run it in the background, that app is just tracking what you're doing. It's tracking everything that you do, your movements, your activities, what sounds you make, how you talk to, all that stuff is being tracked. So no, I think it's just maybe, utilizing one piece of technology to help make something else, to remove some stigmas and to help make things work easier.
Definitely.
So sorry about that, man.
No, you good.
Yeah. Want to add anything to that concept?
Yeah, I think that with the whole Illuminati situation, again, that comes with the territory. Jay-Z would be no more in the Illuminati as Tom Cruise. Success will breed, small talk. But I think people need to look at the scope. Jay-Z has become a billionaire selling music and making investments from the money of selling music. Sam can relate. Like Sam, not to put you out there, but you're an artist. The ability to be able to convince a consumer to buy my song versus a loaf of bread is incredible. To pay for my ticket to come watch him perform versus pay my sale bill. Like, to win that battle of scarcity is incredible. And it takes a team to do that. So if you don't understand the scope of things, you're going to become a bit irrational and think the whole Illuminati concept of what's going on. And yes, there's a lot of politics. It takes a lot of luck. It takes a lot of timing and a lot of good teamwork. And Jay-Z has built a team around him. He's been very public. He's gotten rid of people very close to him that he's had, diminish some relationships. The whole Dame Dash and other people, it might not have been a popular decision, but it was a decision he had to make. And I think that it takes a lot of courage to put himself in that paradigm that he's the first to do this. And when you're the first, it's going to create a lot of speculation. Not to mention, I suspect within at least by 2021, Beyonce is going to be the next billionaire to come behind him.
Rihanna,
you got to understand what he's establishing, and I think it's incredible.
Yeah, definitely, man. And some you speak about Dame Dash, and it's funny because I was going to talk about that, is because I remember last year sometime me and Darren was kind of talking, and he's like, "Yo, man, do you know Dame Dash's net worth was -2 million?" This was sometime last year. I mean, since it's risen, but I'm like, man, that decision to kind of cut the fat per se of Dame Dash has seemed to pay dividends in his life. So what do you say to Dame? Like, was Dame really like toxic? Is he as toxic as Jay-Z probably made him seem at this point? Seeing as where like these guys were partners and made a big company, but as soon as they split, Jay-Z just went to the stratosphere and Dame Dash kind of just, not that he went down, but he kind of just evened out. What do y'all think about that whole aspect?
I think it would appear so. It would, the appearances would say that, when they separated, one guy is just taking off running, and the other guy's just languishing and just making just moves at a suspect. You got to think, man. Who was really the brains behind the operation?
Yeah, there's.
Console love to hear.
Sorry about that.
No, you good.
This mute button. Yeah. I do agree with Darren. I think that this is definitely indicative of that. With Jay, again, man, it's not too much. When you're in the world of finance and to see where this brother comes from, you can't count $1 billion, guys. $1 billion revenue might as well be $1 trillion. I mean, it's immeasurable based on his product and service to generate $1 billion in this economy, in this climate, and being a black man. He has so many strikes against him that you almost want to say that he's not human. It's an interesting thing, man, what Jay-Z's done. And I really think his legacy won't be understood until years later. And that's usually what happens.
We're
witnessing history right now. We're witnessing history.
Do you foresee at some point, because we talk about the powers that be, and we talk about anybody you can name, especially with him meeting this milestone of $1 billion. Do you feel at some point that he will be, the media will be used to attack and tear Jay-Z down with some type of a bogus scandal at some point? I really, you know, we talked about that all the time. We said we know eventually, may not be 10 years, maybe 20, that they're going to try to destroy his legacy. So, a la Mike Tyson. I mean, not Mike Tyson, Michael Jackson. We can go down the list. So how you guys even feel about that whole thing? Was that too conspiratorial for you?
I think that, you know, the difference with Jay-Z that is he's street smart. I mean, he's got the street smarts to do it. He's surrounding himself. Like, I was reading an article in Forbes about Jay-Z that said that 10 years ago he was going out to lunch and dinner with Warren Buffett, with Bill Gates. So those guys move a lot differently. And if he's going and hanging out with these men, he's learning from these guys, you know, he's getting that hedge of protection around him that billionaires only have. It's difficult to convict a billionaire.
That's like factual. That's facts. Jay-Z's not going to get, he's a billionaire. He's politically entrenched right now. He's mastered the art of appealing to different cultures. Jay-Z is a fixture, guys. Jay-Z is a historical icon. He's not just an icon. It's not just a fad. You know what I'm saying? From his body of work, you got to put him with the Marvin Gaye's, the Prince, the Michael Jackson. You got to put him in that genre, because hip hop is so young. And for hip hop, you know how long it took rock to produce their first billionaire? For him to become a billionaire, even though he went out in different business ventures, hip hop gave him the opportunity. So this takes hip hop to the next level. He's taken the entire genre to the next level for any artist that's even in that genre. If they're smart, they'll see what's happening. They'll see the renaissance. He made the move with Tidal how many years ago? Mm-hmm. So this was predetermined. This shows brilliance. This isn't just some Illuminati like dropping the bucket. He's investing in app software. That's where we're going. Cloud. The cloud is huge. That's what he's investing. I mean, I just see brilliance, man. I don't know what
does this kind of dispel the whole myth about, you know, a lot of people run with this chip on their shoulder, like, you know, the white man is holding us back as people. Does this, like, you know, breathe new inspiration in just young black men, knowing that, like, look, we can achieve even bigger than the whole Obama thing. People said the Obama thing meant this, but knowing that now that in less than 20 years, this dude started and became a billionaire with hip hop as the springboard. How do y'all feel about that aspect now, man?
I think it's tremendous, man. I mean, it's tremendous. You know, that I don't know if a lot of people know this, man, but Howard Schultz, who was the founder of Starbucks, grew up in the same projects as Jay-Z. Mm-hmm. So their projects is turning out some champions, man. You know, it's crazy, but you know, yeah, I think, man, it's for people to see him and these young guys, man, to see him coming in and really being able to create and doing something, seeing Robert F. Smith come in and making that power move, seeing Jay-Z coming in and breaking into that. Man, this is the era now where even though black men been taking hits, man, we swinging back.
That's facts.
And we swinging back hard. You know what I'm saying?
That's what's up, man. That's it in a nutshell. I mean, we're not old enough, you know, we're not. But if we study our history, which enough of us don't do, we have to embrace our black history. We're looking at the new Motown. We're looking at the new Berry Gordy. We're looking at a whole shift in the paradigm of us being downtrodden and disrespected. You can't do that anymore. You can't say that the young rapper or aspiring, you know, black entertainer don't have intelligence, because Jay-Z made that understood. No, we can do it. We can get it done. We can compete. We're just as astute as anybody else. This is proof in the pudding, though. This is what it is. And then maintain and keep a family intact. When you got this stigma of single black mother, the father don't raise the child. See, none of that. Jay-Z answering all of that, bro. Like I would have Jay-Z in my curriculum for social studies for children in high school. He'd be in my curriculum. That's how valuable he is to us right now.
Let me ask you guys a question. Let me get back on Dane real quick before I get to this other topic I want to talk about with you guys, which is America's Richest Self-Made Women. That Forbes just came out today. We had some real great names on there I want to talk about. But, oh, God, you were talking about Dame Dash a little bit, Consu. You extended the conversation. Does this make Dame Dash look bad? The fact that we have a situation here, and oh, God, and I talked about it a couple of days ago, where neck and neck, they were sitting right there equally together. And once they split, you see one go here, one go completely different direction, but one that promoted do for self, self always. And even though Jay-Z didn't necessarily say it, he showed it. Does this take away from anything away from Dame Dash to you guys now? Because even when you said that you agreed with Darren, and I kind of made a gesture, I 100% agree too. But the reason why I made the gesture is we've been so big on Dame Dash the last year. So high on everything that he's saying, so high on the message, so high on everything that he's portraying and everything that he's preaching. And then it seemed like there was a small shift, even though we have respect for him and everything that he's going on. The seem as though it was at a certain point where things started going a little left. So I'm going to ask you guys, does this take away from Dame Dash? And am I right in something changing in your perspective of Dame Dash somewhere around along the line?
Yeah, it is, man. It's funny that Breakfast Club interview that Dame Dash did, that set my entrepreneur just into the overdrive.
Same thing.
So, it just set me in the overdrive, and it was like, man, I could see the hustle, I could hear the hustle, I could hear the game that he was dropping. It just, he's kind of like I liken it to the wino on the street corner now. The guy who had to get the jump shot in high school, he had it. He could give you great advice on it, but as far as executing it, it didn't happen. It doesn't happen. He's missing that. He's missing that extra step. That's the difference between college players and pro players, is that extra step, is saying that, hey, actually executing and making those good decisions. It's apparent, man, that he hasn't made the good decisions consistently.
Yeah, it's bad decision making. I'm about to be honest. Dame, he's just, he's like transitioning from college sports, being the best college player, to coming into the pro level, where the worst player is still the best player in the world, not just on the block, in the world. And so in the world of business, Dame Dash is not the unicorn that Jay-Z is. And unfortunately, he has made average business mistakes at a high stake level. You can't retain 7 figures in the hip hop industry and make some of the choices he's made. And sometimes you recover, sometimes you don't. And right now, Dame Dash does not have the team or the skill to compensate for some of his mistakes. That's not a knock to him. He's a great, business person. He's very intelligent, very intuitive. Unfortunately, he doesn't have the right environment that promotes his growth. If you're going to go to the next level, your environment has to change. Every time that you go to the next level, your circle and your environment has to adapt with you. If you cannot be the same person that you was 10 years ago that you are today. And in business, you change every hour. I'm going to tell you, in business, when you capitalize on your opportunities, you change your mind. I changed my mind and philosophy. As much as my heart is attached to something,
Thanks.
If something's kicking me in the ass, I humble out. Well, I was stupid. Let's move. And I listen to people that check me. If I don't have a circle of people that can check me and say, no, Consu, that's ignorant what you're doing. If I don't have that circle and I got a bunch of yes men around me that are capitalizing on my present situation, then I'm setting up for the fall. And if you notice, Dame don't have that factor. See, Dame don't have that quiet person that's saying, Dame, no, man. You don't have that. So that's why he's struggling. Man.
Constance, is that Dame's fault though? Because you look down the track. I mean, and we're all looking from afar, but just from your overall perspective and just looking and understanding motherfuckers. we look at relationships throughout the years and throughout time with Dame, and he's had some great ones and they've been publicized. All of them now are either tarnished or never the same. So that person in Dame's ear that you allude to being in yours and in all of our ears, because I think, oh God, you're mine and I'm yours. And we all have our others. But does he just push away those? Is he just so stuck in his ways that he will not allow anybody to check him, in your opinion?
That's a fact.
Yep.
I mean, even the work that me and Darren do together, a lot of times Darren pushes me in his own way. But he will. Like, let's go, Consul, let's get it done. You see what I'm saying? So he's not listening. It's obvious that he's kind of consumed. So
it was definitely disappointing, man. When they, when he made that apology, to the parties he made the apology to, that kind of, for me, kind of, I lost. Now I ain't gonna say respect, but kind of credibility for his message and what he stood for. He's done some great things in the past, but kind of been on the decline lately. You know what I mean? So just kind of take the good with the bad with that. We thought the Culture Vultures movement. That movement was so powerful for guys like us, just getting in the game. His partner at the time, Kenyatta Griggs, so we do wish the best for him. We definitely wanted to talk about that because, over the years, man, Jay just keeps going up and up and up and up. And it's just like, you have to admire it, man. So one day I would like somebody to actually sit down with Jay-Z and, ask him and talk about his journey and why he did some of the investment, the things that he did. He don't really talk a lot
at all
and real vocal about it. You know what I mean?
He controls that environment a lot. So when he's ready, I guess he'll get the right people in front of him and he'll go ahead and steer that narrative how he wants it to steer. It's smart though. I guess you can't be mad at it. We know how the media goes and how it spins shit, and he's dealt with it. So he's very smart. Now he's a billionaire, so he's gonna walk and talk and do what he wants. Before we get to Meek Mill real quick, now because we're in the money, I was thinking today, I'm watching just the normal sports more than doing things like that. And I seen Serena Williams was number 80, the highest paid female athlete ever on the female Forbes list at $225 million. She's 37 years old. She plays tennis. We were talking about how just ridiculous that is for a 37-year-old to continue to be at a high level and just to be doing what she's doing is unbelievable. Now they have $225 million. But even more surprising than that, fellas, are some of these other ones. Now we got Beyonce on this list at $400 million. She's at number 41. Where's Beyonce at? Wow. I'll find her in 1 second. But Beyonce's there at 51. Okay. Beyonce's at number 51 at $400 million. But even further than that, 37 is Rihanna. How much she worth? 31 years old. Rihanna is worth $600 million motherfucking dollars.
That's mind blowing.
Will she be the next billionaire?
Wow.
That we see now her
products.
Oprah's 2.5 billion, and Oprah's doing her thing. Oprah's up in, I believe, 60s now, number 10 on the list.
Right.
Where's she? How old is Oprah? Oprah's 65. Rihanna's 31 years old.
Man,
$600 million. Talk about that, man.
And that's off Jay-Z's act. That's his,
that
he brought her in. But yeah. I want you brothers to go ahead and speak about that, man. Either one of you brothers have the microphone.
Yeah, man, it's that's amazing. That's amazing to her talent, her work ethic. Her talent, her work ethic, and again, Jay-Z put her in the game, man. So that shows decision making. He's making good decisions. He made a good decision. And when you have somebody that's making good decisions, they're an economic powerhouse. They're passing on that wealth. That's how you know this person is making good decisions. That's how you know this person is doing the right thing. If somebody's not doing the right thing, they cannot continue. They won't be able to continue to make revenue because no one will do business with them. Which is what we see on, from his partner, his former partner.
Ain't that the truth?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Beyonce and Rihanna are byproducts of the same conglomerate. The money per capita is still amazing. I am shocked Rihanna per capita is higher than Beyonce, but Beyonce's brand is older, so it's hard to sustain brand value over a period of time in a volatile industry like music. So it's much credit to Rihanna, what she's done is she shifted her marketing plan to an international platform. When initially she was in a particular genre, she shifted. Now, other artists have tried. The Nicki Minaj's, Now Cardi B is doing it because she's kind of ruling in reggaeton. Nobody's talking about that. She's doing very well in that genre. Cardi B is doing. So Rihanna has set the tone for knowing how to market on multiple levels with her products. So because she's generating product market value and maintaining scarcity, she's doing an excellent job, man. And like you say, Sam, she may be the next one. That's the billionaire. I look at Beyonce for her resources, but Rihanna just flat out is making it happen.
She's making money. And I mean, we all know
just making it happen.
Yeah, Beyonce's in certain investments. We were talking about the Uber investment. Now it only puts her $400 million with music underneath it. Now we all know it's way more than that with, like I said, investments and things like that. Rihanna's doing it with her cosmetic line too, like you were saying, the Fenty line. She's real heavy promoting that nowadays. And I mean, we've seen a lot of female entrepreneurs in the beauty line go ahead and take over that 1 billion mark. A lot in 2019 because of that beauty. It's a huge market. Rihanna's super smart for even jumping in there when she did with her name. And I would love to see other artists, especially when they start becoming like on that superstar status with platforms like this, start kind of transitioning to other things to take themselves to billionaire platforms. Because I think of a Drake right now and his name and although his music as brothers, we may sit back and go, I ain't listen to that corny shit. What he's doing out here as far as sales and his name, and now with the Raptors, he's on pace to kind of emulate that. We see 50. We talked about that when we began the podcast, and how he's trolling and doing little things. But underneath the scene, he has so many hands and so many pockets. So dare we say last year, 2018, will he be a billionaire within the next 10 years? I still think he's on a path to be a billionaire. So real quick, guys, just throw some names out there on the next to potentially see a billionaire, and throw me some names that they aren't even close right now that you just see based off of the work that they're doing that could potentially see a mark like $1 billion.
Wow, man, that's if anything, I'm liking Candace Owens in the political game, in the political arena. She's got the mouthpiece. She's getting the connections. She's really just making a couple moves away from doing that. As far as other young cats, I really can't tell, man, because I'm not seeing a lot of good decision making. Like guys like T.I., he has a capability to be able to become a billionaire. He really has a capability to do that. He can mobilize the people to do that. Master P can mobilize the people to do that. I mean, he just made that deal with Zion Williamson, so that may push them there.
Did he make that deal? Did he ink it?
I believe so. Yeah.
Wow, that's nice.
So I mean that's tremendous right there. That could turn Master P into a billionaire.
Yeah, I think
easily. Because Zion Williamson is a beast.
Yep. The fucking force.
That was huge. If you didn't know, I don't know if you heard about that too, but Master P and his son Romeo offered Zion Williamson not an on the court deal to wear his clothing and sneakers, but off the court to wear his money out as sneakers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So $20 million deal. That's pretty dope right there, man.
That solidifies Zion down there in New Orleans too. And all that the whispers and shit, whether he wants to leave or go back to Duke. Nah, he's down there.
Yep.
And that's thanks to Master P. That's dope.
And we representing, man. That's what I was saying. Like, we hear a lot of negative things about blacks on YouTube, but we really doing it out there, man. We got to just focus on the entrepreneurs and the guys that's doing it. Jay-Z hitting billionaire. You got Diddy, he's over there. Drake, I think is going to be close, like you said, 50 Cent. So it's only going to be more coming up, through that whole thing too. Charlamagne, he's not going to be a billionaire, but he's doing this thing in the media thing and all that. So Rick Ross, yeah, another one.
You brought up Charlamagne. I'm glad you said that because we're in media and the doors are getting blasted open in this shit when it comes to podcasts, when it comes to media, and people are really getting recognized and compensated heavily for it. When will the conversation start coming up to where we start seeing some of the highest paid media? Because it's been something that's drove hip hop, music, culture and everything throughout the years. And we remembered our Wendy Williams and all the legendary people we grew up on, Tom Joyner's and things like that. But sooner or later, that conversation, these motherfuckers are going to start making some money, some real money. When are we going to start recognizing them at those elite levels? When you see that happening?
I think that'd be a great category. But when you about to answer that, we want.
Just
I
off.
think with the shift of music going independent, with the RIAA kind of struggling on how to regulate digital distribution,
Fuck them.
you know, the marketeer, the direct marketeer, or the VJ, the DJ, the radio personality is going to be able to garner more advertisement money per market share. So when you look at things like that, you would have to look at the Breakfast Club really being on the forefront. You really look at them being very close, particularly Charlemagne, because he's the identity of the Breakfast Club, as really being someone that's going to push the envelope. You know, you're going to see some changes in the way artists market themselves, because now it's not just about going to the radio station and getting a single played. It's about going to the radio station and getting seen and having your single play. That's a whole nother dynamic when you got a YouTube channel and you're garnishing 2 and 3 million views. And now you're dealing with MCNs that are going to be approaching these people with private deals. And those who know YouTube that know about MCNs, that's some serious money. And you're talking a limitless potential when it comes to the reach that a Charlemagne and that kind of platform has. I think even, and I'm not being funny, but honestly, Hip Hop Uncensored has a very strong $1 million platform, a very strong possibility of being a $1 million platform because of the reach and the economic space. It's a space for it now. Like Sam is saying, sometimes you got to be prophetic by staying on top of the genre, and the space for media marketing is at an all-time high.
Facts, man. I see these guys.
Absolutely need the platform. Yeah.
These guys are about to do it, man. I really, these guys are sitting on it, man. They got the work ethic, man, and they got the following, man.
That's dope, man.
We appreciate
We're watching this shit happen right in front of our eyes, man.
it. Ain't no what I'm talking about.
Where it started. So you got to know where it started to appreciate it.
Yeah, man. We definitely appreciate that, man. You know what I'm saying? We definitely appreciate you brothers always coming through, man. This was a powerful build.
Yeah, man. We was going, I don't know if you guys have been listening, because we ain't been really putting out too much content, but we've been getting into some nigga shit on this podcast a little bit. We've been talking this shit, and it's been fun.
Yeah,
doing it. And we were kind of going to throw it in here today, but this power, when us four get together, we always have these great, powerful builds, and something's always learned out of the conversation. So I can't appreciate it enough, man. It's always worth its weight in gold, man.
Definitely. But if y'all wanted to add anything else, man, I'll leave the floor open for you brothers. You wanted to say anything or?
Oh, real quick, my fault.
Yeah, no.
Did we talk about Meek? What's your thoughts on Meek Mill?
Go ahead.
Meek Mill getting his new trial next month. Right. Real quick.
I wish your brother the best of luck, man, because no matter what, he's still going to a trial again. So that still don't mean he can't get convicted. You know what I'm saying? I mean, just another trial. That's just another trial. That's another shot. That's giving the prosecution another shot at your neck.
Does it make you feel a little better knowing what he went through, that he'll get a outcome that he deserves this time, when we know the cop was dirty in that situation with him with the gun and the other situation with the willies and shit? He shouldn't even be on probation to begin with. So does it make you feel a little more optimistic? I 100% hear where you're coming from. Black man in the judicial system, fuck that shit. You never know. Does it make you feel a little better knowing what he went through and getting a new trial, him going next month?
No.
Damn.
Right.
No, it makes me apprehensive. Because whenever you got to go in front of that box, man, you go in front of that box, and who knows, man, it could be, it's on the whim now, what of the appellate court. So it's how good of an argument his attorneys can make in front of the appellate court. They're going to be completely unbiased. At least, that's what they say. They're going to be completely unbiased. So he could walk away with a conviction. And then they're going to hand down whatever they're going to hand down. And it's gone to the appeals court. So, at that point, next step will be the Supreme Court.
Right.
So his freedom is in a precarious position.
I'm really rooting for Meek Mill, man. Meek Mill is a personal thing. I'm a fan of his struggle. I just, I would want Meek Mill to spare no expense, because this situation right here, when you make it to appellate, It's all about money, to be honest. When you can get through the court system the way he has, it's all about money. And he may have to compromise some of his comforts of life because his potential is so high because of his political affiliations that it's going to be worth the investment. He's going to have to work the judicial system and invest in his freedom with it. Because what they're doing is coming after his money. Point blank, it's obvious they want his money. He put himself in a vulnerable position. That's what's coming. And I don't have a problem saying it. I'm biased, but nobody says nothing when Europeans are biased. Yeah, hell yeah, I'm biased. Hell yeah, Meek. Do what you got to do to get out of there. In my book, you can do nothing wrong. Because somebody else, if there was somebody of another persuasion, this wouldn't even make the news. We haven't heard about all the other prominent figures that have worse cases on the books, and you don't hear anything else about it. Kevin Spacey, you haven't heard not one comment about this guy, and he has 50 counts against him, and you haven't heard anything. So Meek, what he's doing is nothing. This is a 10-year-old case, man. Yep. Get this case off that man back. He's working hard. He's being righteous in the community. He's doing his shows. He's trying to make money for him and his people. Leave dude alone. Meek, just go ahead and drop that bread, man, and keep it moving, bro. You're a survivor. You got good friends that that got their pockets right. Oh yeah, they got your back, man. I just hope everything the best for that, brother. I really do.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited to see because it's something we all obviously been following real closely over the last year and a half, and it's just been ridiculous every step of the way. But we do feel good about, and his lawyers definitely feel good about him, winning versus a hearing. Then they're trying to go to trial simply because of that police officer, who was on that list of dirty cops, and they already proved for him to be a bad cop. So it's, in all likelihood, he will win. But like you said, I'm with Darren too. You kind of never know when you got to get back in front of a judge again. They can always do whatever they want to do.
It's a shame, man. It's a money game, like Consu was saying. Hopefully, you just drop that bread, which is sickening in itself because it should just be about a morale and what's right. And the fact is, the motherfucker was dirty. He never did what he was charged of, and he should be off for free. But he'll go ahead and pay that money, get off. I'm optimistic, hopefully not naive, in the fact that he will be able to travel, make his money, and do his thing as a free man within the next couple of months. But yeah, like Ogad was saying, it's great to have you guys on. Yeah. If you guys wanted to close out with any remarks, drop your handles to your social media, YouTube, things like that. The floor is yours.
Right on, man. Subscribe to Blerdplanet, man, .com, and Blerd Planet. It's the home of the Black intelligentsia. Yeah, that's us, man. That's who we are.
Yep, Blerdplanet.com. I'm Consu at Blerdplanet.com. You can reach me by email, Consu Sheshmamoon on YouTube, Consu19 on Instagram. Just reach out to me, man. Let's chop it up.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Another episode of the Hip Hop Uncensored Podcast in the books today, man. It's been a powerful discussion. Make sure that y'all enjoyed the podcast today. Go ahead and give us a 5-star rating. We do appreciate that in advance. But that's all I got over here, though, Sam, man.
Black intelligentsia. Can you spell that shit? Because I can't. I never even heard that fucking word. You better go over there and learn something from them Blerd Planet brothers, man. They got a lot going on. They got knowledge every day, all day. Appreciate y'all, man. Definitely all the wisdom and jewels that you guys give. Another dynamic episode of the Hip Hop Uncensored Podcast, exclusively on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, and all major online outlets. If you're watching on YouTube right now, if you happen to catch a segment of this podcast and want to see more, you got to go over to the audio version. So get your lazy ass up, hit that podcast button, and subscribe to the Hip Hop Uncensored Podcast. Got great news coming within the next few days. Just like I said, dotting them T's and crossing them I's.
Yep. We'll
be back Thursday for episode 175. Oh, God, that's all I got. Peace and love.
That's all I got, too. We out of here, man. Everybody be safe. Peace.
Peace.
Appreciate it, brothers.